Some preachers tie their self-worth to their net worth. Hence, they manipulate the scripture to get people to keep tithing. Do you still believe that tithing is not required and that non-tithers are not under any curse?
Thank you. Okay, so there was coming up this controversy about tithing, right? And I did what every Christian and preacher should do. Go back into the Bible and research, find out. I did my research, and I have a theology teacher. So I sent my findings to the theology teacher. And the theology teacher said, go ahead, I think you're okay. And then my focus was on our church members. I did not want them to be confused about the issue. The church has a way of resolving doctrinal issues. Right from Acts of the Apostles, they started. In Acts 15, you will see this massive debate, amongst the apostles on circumcision. But eventually they came to a resolution. And what was the deciding factor? There is the old covenant, there is the new covenant in the Bible.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ died. After he died, everything changed. Okay? Everything changed. The requirements changed. What it took to be close to God, to receive forgiveness of sins, and everything changed. So that change is what we then now apply to every scenario. That's the one we're applying to the tithing issue. So the amazing thing about tithing is that it predated the law in the Bible. It came long before the laws of Moses came. So you would say that people have always known, for a long time at an intuitive level, that you are meant to give back part of what you take. Abraham gave tithes, 10%, right? There are people who have prospered phenomenally in business just going by that principle. But what we found out was after Christ died and resurrected, you only had few references to tithes in the New Testament, and especially in the epistles. And they were historical references. There was no instruction for anybody to pay. What we then did also was to look at the practice of giving. We then now found out that, in fact, after the resurrection of Christ, people gave a whole lot more than even the 10%. So we said, let's stay with the principle. Giving is a valid principle. You can't afford to be a stingy person. You need to be generous. You need to give. You need to support the work of God. But then we can't apply what you have under the law to pay tithe. You have to carry it to a particular location. Interestingly, some of the provisions there in Deuteronomy actually says you should even eat it right there. Some kind of tithe you paid once in 3 years and all that. We said, look, you can get away with all that. And then the statement in Mark 3:8, you have robbed God, you are under a curse, said, Galatians says Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. He has absorbed the punishment. Yeah. So we can't say somebody will be punished now because they're not paying tax. So it was just those simple things we found from scriptures. I would just say it's an ongoing discussion.
Okay, I get you clearly, but I still want greater clarity from you, Pastor.
Right.
There's a debate that paying tithes as commanded in the Old Testament, I think precisely the book of Deuteronomy, is on farm produce and livestock, not cash. Some have argued that, it was because there was no money at that time, but we have evidence that there was money in the biblical era, which now the modern churches will prefer to take money rather than farm produce.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the show. And we are very, very happy to have you guys here today. And we would like to urge you guys to please do us a favor by smashing the like button on this video. And if you enjoy what we do, please kindly subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us a lot, and we shall really appreciate it. Now, when you listen to what the man of God just said about this whole tithing of a thing and how it's causing a lot of confusion in the Christian community, you will realize that he is right to say that sometimes there are very controversial topic or controversial situations within our society that needs resolving. And it takes courageous people to sit down and have a logical debate about something and to come to a conclusion if that thing benefits the majority of the people or not. Now, I know many people will say that it is the Bible, and so the Bible cannot be edited to conform with our changing times. Most people always make that argument that we cannot change the Bible to suit your desires. We cannot change the Bible to cater for what you think you need. That the Bible is God's words, and it can never be changed, whether we like it or not. But the thing most of those people fail to understand is that, or maybe they know, but they lie to others about their take on the Bible. But let me just share you what I think about the Bible. The Bible was written, or better still, put together by people. And those people who put together the Bible had their own cultures and traditions. And I believe that as people who we are, some of the things we do are being influenced by where we come from. Some of the things we do are being influenced by our background, by our history, and by the way we were being brought up, our family background. So the Bible might have many things that are not from the Lord. The Bible might have many things that were put there by people who had different way of thinking. The Bible might have a lot of things that were put there by people who just wanted to portray themselves or bring forth their own ideology or promote their own beliefs and custom. So when it comes to the whole tithe thing, I believe that the men of God should look at it this way. And well, before I even get to that, let me just point this small fact, right? I have always said that nobody will willingly change something that benefits them, except that person is really pure in heart, except that person really love other people, except that person really considerate other people as human. That person will not willingly change or alter anything that benefits them. Likewise, this whole tithe and offering thing. You know who benefits the most? The men of God. They benefit like a lot from the tithe and offering thing. It is like their lifeline. So how do you think they would feel if people started kicking against tithe and offerings? How do you think they would feel when people started talking that paying tithe is not in the Bible and that the men of God are overplaying their hands? That the men of God are stretching the Bible and they are putting things in the Bible, things that support their narratives, things that support them squeezing their members dry, things that will help line up their pockets. They're putting it in the Bible. That is why they brought up this whole prosperity gospel, this whole transactional gospel with God. If you sow seed, God will bless you. If you don't sow seed, God will not bless you. Job faced a lot of inflation and the sufferings because he did not pay tithe. So the safety of your future and your properties is being dependent on whether you pay tithe or not. If you do not pay tithe, nothing is guaranteed for you. If you do not pay tithe, your whole life is not assured. For God will not protect you because you haven't paid tithe or you don't pay tithe. Like, who gave them the moral high grounds to predict that? Who told them that is what God was looking for from the people he's going to judge? And who told them that paying tithe was the main determining factor of whether God will protect you from all the dangers that you might face or not? Why would they come up with such a thing? It was Papa Adeboye who said that anyone who is not paying tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop. And I asked myself, how would he know that? Who told him that? Who told him that? Isn't judgment left for the Lord? Isn't the Lord the only person who can determine who goes to heaven or not? Isn't God the only one who knows the criteria for which he uses to judge people? So how can Papa Adeboye say this with full confidence on air to hundreds, if not thousands of his followers, that if they are not paying their tithes, well, the doors of heaven would be shut away from them? How would he know this? So, I think that members in the Christian community can sit down and have a debate about this. They can understand the present situations of their members, and they can see into how they can relieve them from some of the burden. Paying tithe is not a bad idea if people understood the reason for which they are giving it. There are many rich people in the church who wouldn't find paying tithe a difficult thing for them to do. Likewise, there are many poor people who are struggling, who are suffering day in, day out. And the only reason they pay tithe is because their man of God has guilted them into paying. Their man of God have told them time and time again that he who does not pay tithe is not serving God. He who does not pay tithe will go to hell. And so they are scared and worried for their souls. They do not want to go to hell. And so they will do whatever it takes not to go to hell. So they will rather starve their human body. They will rather starve their families just so they do not go to hell. And you, as a man of God, when you told someone that, and that person is struggling to survive, and that person is starving themselves, and that person cannot take care of their families, and is giving you the money, and you're eating it, and you're happy with yourself, are you really a man of God? Has this thought ever crossed your mind? That if people are struggling, if people are in pains, if people are going through very difficult times, but the little they have, they will give to you. When they cannot feed their families, but they will give you tithe. And you collect this money, and you buy private jet, and you buy bulletproof cars, and you buy huge real estate. Do you really see yourself as a man of God? And are you really sure that you will go to heaven? Are you really sure? Because God can see through all of you. God can see through or this. And God can see through the pain and agony of those individuals whom you have collected from. God sees their pain. And I believe God will ask you, where was your conscience when you wholeheartedly collected a little that this family had? When you deprive this family of basic need by collecting all what they have, where was your conscience? Let this sink in for a second. But you guys out there, let me hear what you guys have to say. After hearing what the man of God said about tithing and how it's like a hot potato in the Christian community, what is your take? Do you think that men of God should form a committee and debate on this whole tithe issue and how it affects their Christians? Do you think that that is a very positive way of resolving this issue? Or because, as many men of God will claim, it's in the Bible, so there's nothing anyone can do about it, so we should either just pay the tithe or don't pay the tithe? What is your take? Let's hear that in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please do us a favor, like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot, and we shall ever be grateful to you. So thank you for doing just that.